Two Friends and the Bear. Two best friends were walking along a lonely and dangerous path through a jungle. As the sun began to set, they grew afraid but held on to each other. Suddenly, they saw a bear in their path. One of the boys ran to the nearest tree and climbed it in a moment. The other boy did not know how to climb a tree by himself, so he lay on the ground pretending to be dead. The bear approached the boy on the ground and sniffed around his head. Thinking that the boy was dead, the bear went on its way. The boy in the tree climbed down and asked his friend what had the bear whispered in his ear. He replied, "Do not trust friends who do not care for you."
Hello kids, today I will tell you another interesting story, that is the greedy dog. Let's get started. There was a dog that is very hungry. He searched for food everywhere and at last he found a bone. He picked the bone with his mouth and started going back to his home. There was a breeze on the way to his home. When he started crossing it, he saw his reflection in the water. The dog thought that there was another dog with a bone in the water. He wanted to get that other bone too, so he started barking at his own reflection. His bone fell in the water as soon as he opened his mouth. The greedy dog lost his bone. The moral of the story is greedy is cause.
The Thirsty Crow. It was a hot summer's day. A crow felt very thirsty. He flew here and there in search of water. He could not find water anywhere. As he was flying over a park, he saw a jug with little water in it. The water in the jug was so low that its beak could not touch it. He was a clever crow. He picked up small pieces of stones and put them in the jug. The level of the water started rising. He continued putting pieces of stones in the jug when he saw that water level has risen high up. He drank the water and flew away.
Tell you another interesting story, the ant and the grasshopper. Let's get started. In a garden, there lived an ant and a grasshopper who are very good friends. It was springtime and the grasshopper was having a lot of fun playing, singing, dancing in the sun. But the ant was hardworking. It was collecting food grains and storing them in its house. The grasshopper did not understand why the ant was doing so and said, "Hey ant, why don't you come outside and play with me?" The ant replied, "I can't. I am storing food for the winter when there would not be anything to eat." The grasshopper only laughed at the ant and said, "Why are you worrying now? There is plenty of food," and continued to play. While the ant worked hard, when winter came, the grasshopper did not find a single grain of food to eat. It began to starve and feel very weak. The grasshopper saw how the hard-working ant had plenty of food to eat and realized his mistake.
Once, a hare saw a tortoise walking slowly with a heavy shell on his back. The hare was very proud of himself and he asked the tortoise, "Shall we have a race?" The tortoise agreed. They started running the race. The hare ran very fast, but the tortoise walked very slowly. The proud hare rested under a tree and soon slept off. But the tortoise walked slowly but steadily and reached the goal. At last, the tortoise won the race. The Foolish Turtle. Once upon a time, beside a lake, there lived a turtle and two geese who were great friends. As the lake was drying, the geese decided to migrate to a new place. The turtle also wanted to move with them, but he could not fly, and so he pleaded the geese to take him with them. After trying really hard to convince them, finally the geese agreed. They held a stick with their beaks and asked the turtle to hold the stick with his mouth and warned him not to open his mouth in order to avoid letting him go off the stick. As they flew high, some onlookers thought that the turtle was kidnapped and commented, "Oh, the poor turtle." This angered the turtle and he immediately opened his mouth to say something back. As soon as he did this, he fell to the ground and died.
The ant and the dog. One hot day, an ant was searching for some water. After walking around for some time, she came to a spring. To reach the spring, she had to climb off a blade of grass. While making her way off, she slipped and fell into the water. She could have drowned if a dove of a nearby tree had not seen her. Seeing that the ant was in trouble, the dove quickly plucked off a leaf and dropped into the water near the struggling ant. The ant moved towards the leaf and climbed up there. Soon it carried her safely to dry ground. Just at that time, a hunter nearby was throwing out his net towards the dove, hoping to trap it. Guessing what he was about to do, the ant quickly bit him on the head. Feeling the pain, the hunter dropped his net. The dove was quick to fly away to safety.
The clever monkey. One day, the crocodile told the monkey that his wife was very pleased with the mangoes and she had asked the crocodile to bring his friend to her. "Please, friend, grant my request. Come to our house with me. She must see you. She is very grateful to you." The monkey said, "But how can I go into water? I cannot swim." The crocodile told him that he should simply sit on his back and hold on to him. "Trust me, you will not drown," said the crocodile. So, one day the monkey sat on the back of the crocodile. He asked his friend to swim on the surface for some time. During this ride, the crocodile, who was very simple, told the monkey that his wife wanted to eat the heart of a monkey. The monkey was scared to hear this, but he did not express his fear. He cleverly told the crocodile, "I'm sorry, friend. I have kept my heart at home in the tree. Take me back. I will fetch it for your wife." The foolish crocodile swam back. As soon as he reached the bank, the monkey jumped off his back and climbed up the tree. "Goodbye, friend," he said from above. "Your wife will never taste a monkey's heart."
Once upon a time, a man and his wife had the good fortune to have a goose which laid a golden egg every day. Lucky though they were, they soon began to think they were not getting rich fast enough. They imagined that if the bird is able to lay golden eggs, its stomach must be made up of gold. And they thought that if they could get all that precious metal at once, they would get mighty rich very soon. So the man and his wife decide to kill the bird. However, upon cutting the goose open, they were shocked to find that its stomach was like that of any other goose.
The hunter and the pigeons. One day, a hunter went out to catch birds. He spread out a net on the ground. He put rice all over the net. Then he hid in a bush nearby. Soon some pigeons came flying by. They saw the rice. They did not see the net. They flew to the ground. They began to eat the rice. The hunter in the bush saw the pigeons eating the rice. He pulled the string of the net. The pigeons were caught in the net. The pigeons had a leader. He said to the pigeons, "We are caught in a hunter's net. Don't get afraid. Do what I say. Then you will be saved." "We will do what you say," said all the pigeons. "Fly together up in the sky," said the leader. All the pigeons flew up. They took the net off the ground. The hunter ran after him, but he could not catch them. The leader said, "We have got away from the hunter, but we have not got away from the net. Let us go to our friend, the mouse. He will help us." They flew down to the ground. They found the mouse in his hole. The leader said, "Friend mouse, will you help us?" "Most gladly," said the mouse. With his sharp teeth, he cut through the net. He set all the pigeons free. The Lion and the Mouse. A lion was sleeping in a forest. A mouse started playing on it. The lion was disturbed and arose from his sleep. It caught up the mouse angrily and tried to crush it to death. Then the mouse prayed the lion to leave him off and assured that it would help him when it needed. The lion laughed at it and let him go off. One day, the lion was caught in a net spread by a hunter. It roared and tried to escape, but in vain. The mouse heard the lion's roaring and came there. It started cutting the net with its teeth. The lion escaped and thanked the mouse.
Once there lived a shepherd boy. He used to graze a flock of sheep outside the village. One day he thought of a mischief. He climbed off a tree and shouted, "Wolf, wolf, help, help!" The villagers heard his cry and ran towards the forest with sticks. When they reached the boy, he laughed at them and said, "Here is no wolf. It was only a joke." The villagers scolded him and went back. After some days, the naughty boy repeated his earlier mischief. The villagers came again with sticks. They were much annoyed when they learned that the boy had again raised a false alarm. One day, while he was grazing his sheep, a wolf really came. He cried for help again and again, but nobody came there. The wolf killed the boy and his sheep.
The Two Foolish Cats. Once upon a time, two cats found a piece of cheese and cut it into two pieces. But one piece was slightly bigger than the other. Both the cats wanted the bigger piece. Then they went to a monkey and asked to sort out the matter. The monkey said, "Don't worry, I'll make both the pieces equal." Then it took a bite from the bigger piece. But this made the other piece larger. So it took a bite from the other piece. This continued till the pieces became very small. Seeing this, the cats pleaded, "Sir, we are satisfied. Let us have the pieces now." The shrewd monkey replied, "This is my fee for sorting out the problem." Saying this, it gobbled up the remaining cheese. The Milkmaid and Her Pail. Patty, the milkmaid, was going to the market, carrying milk in a pail on her head. As she went along, she began calculating what she would do with the money she would get for the milk. "I'll buy some foals from Farmer Brown," said she, "and they will lay eggs each morning, which I will sell to the parson's wife. With the money that I get from the sale of these eggs, I'll buy myself a new frock and a hat. And when I go to the market, won't all the young men come up and speak to me? Polly Shaw will be so jealous, but I don't care. I shall just look at her and toss my head like this." As she spoke that, she tossed her head back and the pail fell off, and all the milk was spilt.
A woodcutter lived in a small village on the river bank. He used to cut the trees on the river bank every day and sell them in the village. One day, While cutting a tree, he dropped his axe in the river. The woodcutter immediately searched but could not see the axe. He sat down on the river bank and started crying. He said, "Dear God, I dropped my axe in the water. It was my only source of livelihood. Please help me. God, please give me back my axe back." The woodcutter saw the god, Mercury, rising from the river. He heard the woodcutter's prayer and went back to the river to find the axe. He came back with a good axe and asked, "Woodcutter, is this your axe?" The woodcutter refused. Mercury went back in and got a silver axe. "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter refused again. The third time Mercury returned with an iron axe. The woodcutter took his axe happily and profusely thanked Mercury. Mercury was happy with the honesty and gave him all three eggs. The woodcutter went home happily. Soon village heard about his good fortune story.